Hello learners, we are going to discuss factoring different types of polynomials. Now, ano-ano yung mga iba't ibang klase ng factoring methods? We have, first, common monomial factoring. Second, we also have the factoring by grouping. Third, we have the factoring the difference of two squares. Fourth, factoring perfect square trinomials. Fifth, factoring the sum or difference of two cubes. Sixth, the factoring trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. And last, the seventh method, we have factoring trinomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. But in this video, we will first discuss the common monomial factoring. But before that, let us have a short introduction regarding the topic factoring polynomials. So factoring a polynomial means writing it as a product of other polynomials. Any polynomial that cannot be written as the product of the two other polynomials except 1 and -1 is said to be prime. A polynomial is said to be factored completely when it has been written as a product consisting only of prime factors. Okay, so meaning, pag nag-factor tayo ng polynomial, unfactorable na siya if each factor is a prime factor na yung ating nakuha. Now, let us proceed with the common monomial factoring. Find the greatest common factor of the numerical coefficients. That is the first step, okay, in finding or in getting the common monomial factor. And second, find the variable common to all terms and identify the least exponent in each term of the polynomial. So for the second step, we will look for the variable, okay, na kung saan makikita sa lahat ng given na terms. And then, we will identify sa lahat ng terms na yun kung ano yung pinakamaliit na exponent sa specific na variable na pinili natin or na common doon sa lahat. Now, the third step is we will get the product of the GCF of the numerical coefficients and the variables with the least exponents in the second step. So, in getting the product, we will have now the common monomial factor of the polynomial. So, let's have an example. We have here factor 15d squared e to the fourth minus 10d cubed e raised to the power of 6 times f. So, the first step again is to identify the numerical coefficients and their greatest common factor. So ano-ano yung ating numerical coefficients? Ang numerical coefficients natin ay si 15 and 10. Now, let us find the greatest common factor of 15 and 10 by using the prime factorization method. So we have prime factorization of 15. 15 is equal to 5 times 3. Next, prime factorization of 10, we have 10 is equal to 5 times 2. So therefore, by just looking at the prime factors of 10 and 15, their common factor is 5. So therefore, the greatest common factor or the GCF is 5. Now, let's proceed with the second step. Identify the variable or the variables common to all terms and identify the least exponent in each term of the polynomial. So in our polynomial, we have two terms and yung common na variable na makikita sa dalawang term ay si variables d and e. Now, sa two terms na present sa ating polynomial na kailangang i-factor, ang pinakamaliit na exponent ni d ay 2. And ang pinakamaliit naman na exponent ni E sa dalawang term na yan ay 4. So ang gagamitin natin na exponent para sa factor na ating given na polynomial is si E merong exponent na 4, si D merong exponent na 2. So magiging D squared e to the power of 4. So yan yung factor ng ating variables, yung common monomial factor ng ating variables. And pag pinagsama natin yung GCF na galing kay step 1 and sa variables with the least exponent sa ating given na polynomial, the common monomial factor will be 5d squared e to the power of 4. Now, after kunin yung common monomial factor, we will now proceed with the step 3. Divide the common monomial factor to each of the terms in the given polynomial. So let's start with dividing the common monomial factor to the first term. We have 15d squared e to the power of 4 divided by 5d squared e to the power of 4. Now, unahin natin dalawang coefficients. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Next, d squared divided by d squared is equal to 1. E to the fourth divided by e to the power of 4 is equal to 1. And by getting the product of those quotients, we will have the final answer 3. So when we divide the first term by the common monomial factor, we will get the value of 3. Now let's divide the second term by the common monomial factor. Negative 10 d cubed e6f divided by 5d squared e to the power of 4. Negative 10 divided by 5 is equal to negative 2. D cubed divided by d squared. So to get the quotient, just subtract the, what do you call this one? The exponent of the divisor with our dividend. Yan. So d cubed or magiging d 3 minus 2 or d to the power of 1 which is equal to d. Now next, e raised to the power of 6 divided by e raised to the power of 4 magiging e raised to the power of 6 minus 4 which is equal to 2 or e squared. And then since wala naman tayong ma-divide kay f, so may iwan si f. Okay, mag-stay si f. And now, we got the quotient. Pag dinivide natin yung ating common monomial factor sa lahat ng terms ng ating given na polynomial. And now, the last step, bring together the quotient of both terms. We have 3 minus 2d e squared f. And idugtong natin yan siya doon sa ating common monomial factor. So the factored form of our given polynomial is 5d squared e to the power of 4 times the quantity of 3 minus 2d squared f. That is our final answer. Now let us have our second and last example. We have here factor negative 6 m cubed n p cubed minus 4m squared n squared p cubed plus 14m squared and p to the power of 4. So again, first step is to identify the numerical coefficients and the greatest common factor of those coefficients. So the numerical coefficients are negative 6, negative 4, and 14. Now let's get the GCF by using the prime factorization method. So the prime factors of negative 6 are negative 2 and 3. Prime factorization of negative 4, we have negative 2 times 2. Prime factorization of 14, we have negative 2 times negative 7. And as you can see, yung makikita na common na number sa kanilang lahat ay si negative 2 lamang. So therefore, the GCF is negative 2. Now, second step, let us identify kung ano-ano yung mga variables na makikita sa lahat ng terms. Ang makikita na variables sa lahat ng terms ay yung tatlong variable natin, which are the variables m, n, and p. Now, para kay m, yung pinakamaliit na variable or pinakamaliit na exponent sa lahat ng terms ni m ay 2. So, ang gagamitin natin sa common monomial factor is m squared. For n, the lowest or the least exponent niya ay 1. The lowest exponent naman of p in all the terms is 3. So therefore, yung magiging part ng ating common monomial factor is m squared and p cubed. And pag minultiply natin yan sa ating greatest common factor ng numerical coefficients, we will get negative 2m squared and p cubed. And now, let us divide all the terms in our polynomial by our common monomial factor. So we will have here negative 6m cubed and p cubed divided by negative 2m squared and p cubed, which is equal to 3m. Now our second term, negative 4m squared n squared p cubed divided by negative 2m squared n p cubed is equal to 2n. Bakit? Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is equal to positive 2. M squared divided by m squared is equal to 1. So positive 2 times 1 is 2 pa rin. Next, n squared divided by n is n. Okay, 2 times n, we have 2n. And last, p cubed divided by p cubed is equal to 1. So 2n times 1, we have 2n. Now last, for the third term, 14m squared and p to the power of 4 divided by the common monomial factor, we will get negative 7p. So for the step 4, bring together the quotient of all terms. We have 3m plus 2n minus 7p. And itabi natin yun siya sa ating common monomial factor. We will now get the factored form of our given polynomial, which is negative 2m squared and p cubed times the quantity of 3m plus 2n minus 7p. And that's it. That's our final answer. And natutunan na ninyo kung paano mag-factor ng polynomial by using the common monomial factoring method.